Easy Bead for stucco and stick-on stone construction is a casing bead system that is ready to caulk once installed, saving the builder time and labor and providing the owner with a tighter, more efficient joint system around their window, reducing leakage. Moisture intrusion in stucco and stick-on stone is a major reason for replacement of facades on homes. This wall is being torn off after being built less than 9 years ago. One of the ways water gets into the wall system is where stucco and stick-on stone comes into contact with the windows of the home. Note how the window on this tear-off has no expansion joint or caulk around the window. Once we tear off the existing facade, we cover it with Tyvek to protect the facade from taking in more moisture prior to our sheathing crew coming in. Look at the moisture under that window. It is wet and moldy, drenched with water. As I push my fingers softly into the sheathing, they go right through the punky, crumbly OSB board, almost non-existent here. Today, having stucco or mortar right up to the window is against most building codes. Codes dictate there must be an expansion joint and some type of sealant between all dissimilar materials on the wall. Here is a window with casing bead in place. The casing bead accepts the plaster on a stucco or stick-on stone veneer. There is a gap now formed between the window and stucco that must be caulked. Hopefully the joint is uniform thickness around the entire window. Since there is no uniform means of spacing this casing bead, this may not always be the case. Backer rod is then pushed into place, hopefully 3/8 to 1/2 inch deep. Again, that is dependent on the installer. Here's a better way. Easy Bead. Easy Bead is a window grade vinyl casing bead made in 1/2, 3/4, and 7/8 inch thicknesses. On the right side of the bead is a flexible extrusion attached to our rigid vinyl bead, which creates a 3/8 inch wide by 1/4 inch deep cavity for use as a caulk joint. It can compress easily enough to provide just the right expansion and contraction for our joint, sturdy enough to act as a spacing strip when installed. A bond breaking tape is attached to the flexible extrusion. This is not to be removed. It breaks the bond between the caulk and our flexible flange, acting as a backer rod. Now let's see it installed. First, we take our 10-foot length of Easy Bead and run it all the way down along the jamb of the window, nailing as we go. Down at the corner, we're now going to make 2 cuts on our rigid part of our flange. And we'll see a detail of those cuts. We will then make 2 cuts on the flexible part of our flange. Here, one with a razor blade, one with a snip. And again, a detail of the V that we just created. And we will then bend underneath the jamb and press snugly up to the jamb and the sill, nailing as we go. Coming to the opposite corner, we're now going to make our 2 cuts. Our 2 cuts on our flexible expansion and bend up and around the opposite jamb. So we've come 6 foot down the one jamb, 3 foot across the sill, and 1 foot up the opposite jamb, creating a 3/8 by 1/4 inch deep joint all the way around the window. We now take a 5-foot section and come down the opposite jamb to our existing bead, making any cuts we need to fit it in snugly, nailing as we go, and we're all set. This gentleman has put this material into place in less than 10 minutes on this window. We now bring our lath right up over top of our casing bead, nail in place. We have our scratch and our brown coat in place. Here's our joint system ready to be caulked. Once the finish coat is in place, we can now apply a compatible caulk with a color that ties in with the facade. So here we have now a functioning, aesthetic caulk joint around our windows and our stick-on stone. As you can see, our caulk ties in very nicely with the mortar of the stick-on stone, almost non-existent. We can also put Easy Bead up along the soffit area or along our trim to create a joint. Easy Bead cuts installations in half, so we're saving money on installation of the bead. We're also saving money on the installation of the caulk and sealant by 25%. Major savings for the builder and major savings for the homeowner, since they're going to have a tighter joint that is going to help protect their home. For information or samples, please contact us at sl405@aol.com or call either one of these numbers and or go to our website.